Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, I'm RUZAINI from RCS2555A. Today, me and my friend Hadri IKRAM will be presenting about assessment 4, which is video critic. Okay, the movie that we chose for this assessment is The Assistant from 2019, starring Julia Garner as Jane. This film is directed by Kitty Green. The film follows a day in the life of a young female assistant to a powerful entertainment mogul. Through the course of her day, the assistant is subjected to various forms of abuse and exploitation in the workplace, revealing the toxic and oppressive power dynamic that exists in the entertainment industry. The film shines a light on the systemic issues of sexual harassment, discrimination, and the power of imbalance in the workplace. From this movie, we will show three critical incidents that related to all of our topics that we have learned.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hadri. So I would like to continue our presentation, which is from the first scene that we found in the movie The Assistant. So we found this scene where the co-worker tried to help the protagonist by helping her in emailing the boss email to the boss. And also after that, the coworker also asked the condition of the protagonist if she is okay. So as we can see, the result of this scene we can see is positive communication aspect from several reason from each chapter that we already learned in the class. So in the first chapter, which is introduction to communication, as we can see in the scene, we can see two type of communication, which is verbal communication and non-verbal communication. So for the non-verbal communication, it is informal since it is used informal is used this type of communication with our family or friends since the co-worker and the protagonist is a friend, so it is informal. And it is informal lateral since this type of application found among members working at the same level. So the co-workers and the protagonist is working on the same level, so we conclude that the verbal communication is informal lateral. So next is the non-verbal communication. As we found, it is a body language since the body language is through sign and symbol. In the scene, as we can see, the co-worker use hand gesture to help the protagonist to write an email to the boss, and he also use hand gesture and posture to when he ask the protagonist if her condition. Next, from the chapter 2, which is effective communication, we can see that it is a one-to-one communication since it is from the protagonist and the co-worker. So from the communication, the co-worker tried to help the protagonist in her work. So he tried to achieve the the objective of the communication is to help the protagonist in her work, which is when the protagonist tried to email to the boss, he tried to help the protagonist, and he also checked the protagonist condition since at the end of the conversation, he asked if the protagonist is okay or not. So as we conclude that it is a one-to-one communication. So next is from the chapter 3, business communication. As from the scene, we can see the communication style is assertive. Assertive is an action and expression fit with words spoken, firm but polite and clear message, respectful of self and others. So as we can see, the co-workers show an action expression fit with her words spoken. It is firm but polite, and also show a clear message and respectful of self and others. He do not show any angry or be mad to the protagonist. So from the assertive, we can see the posture. Posture is the related, open, and welcoming. So as we can see, the coworker show this type of posture, relaxed, open, and welcoming. And also, when she tried to use the hand gesture, we can see the gesture is open, friendly, and appropriate gesture. So no bad gesture or anything that could show that he is mad or anything. But we can see it is assertive since the hand gesture is open, friendly, and appropriate gesture. Next is from chapter 5, which is professional communication. Uh, Professional communication is a specific style of behavior in the workplace. So the behavior that the coworkers show in the scene, as you can see, is be friendly and a team player since he is be friendly to the protagonist and also a team player since he helped the protagonist to write an email to the boss. And also the protagonist also have a behavior of positive attitude since he is helping the protagonist, so that we can see there is a positive attitude in the workplace. So next, the professional interaction. So as we can see in this scene, the co-workers keep personal information personal since as we can see at the end of the conversation, the co-worker tried to ask the protagonist if she is okay or not. So when the protagonist answer or reply with is okay, the co-workers keep it personal and does not interrupt or ask more from that. So we can see he's also respect for college and tolerance since he respect the co-workers and does not further his question.
Okay, the next incident that chosen is when Sienna, who is played by Christine Froseth, a new employee that has been offered a position as a junior assistant, seems like she was waiting for Jane, who is the protagonist for this movie, to teach her everything about her new job. So Jane only met Sienna once before, so they does not know each other very well. In this scene, Jane showed up in the office and saw Sienna. They greeted each other with an awkward face as they does not know each other very well, as I mentioned earlier. And Sienna then said to Jane, they said you teach me the phones, indicating that she was expecting Jane to teach her on how to use the desk phone and to be an assistant to their boss. Jane then taught everything that Sienna needed to know for her job. Okay, next is to explain about everything that we have learned based on this particular scene. Firstly, it showed a positive communication aspect since she gave the new worker, which is Sienna, a friendly environment and showed her a respectable and helpful senior since Sienna is appointed as junior and Jade is the senior assistant. This scene also shows formal communication in workplace. This upward communication, as I mentioned earlier. Jane is the senior assistant while Sienna is the junior assistant. So their position is different as Jane is a little bit higher than Sienna. So it is an upward communication. Next, this scene also shows the use of non-verbal communication, which is body language. To show, for example, Jane showed to Sienna how to use the desk phone. She showed hand signs showing that this number, if you dial, it's going to call this section. This number is going to call that section. So there is a body language in this scene. Okay, other than that, there is also Grice cooperative principle in this scene, which is inference. So this can be proved and seen when Sienna is asking Jane to teach her how to use the phone. Jane does not have any trouble understanding that instead of only teaching Sienna to use the desk phone to reach internal contacts, uh, she also know that she need to teach Sienna to know the number that needed to be used to call outside of the office, which means other branch. So she teach Sienna uh, all the numbers that needed to call the other branch, for example London office and also New York's office and United States office. So there is inference in this Grice cooperative principle. Other than that, this particular scene is one-to-one communication because it is only Jane and Sienna who is speaking in this scene. So Jane is teaching Sienna how to use the desk phone, and Sienna is listening to Jane teaching. Other than that, it is also assertive communication because Sienna listened to Jane teaching her how to use the desk phone without interrupting, and also they both have good eye contact with each other. Okay, next is in this scene there are also elements of work ethics. Firstly is the respectfulness. This can be seen because Sienna listens to Jane explaining how to use the desk phone, and she respects Jane as the senior assistant and Sienna is the junior assistant. Next is accountability. This can be seen Jane knows her responsibility as a senior assistant to teach Sienna, who is new employee and also a junior assistant. She doesn't know anything about the company, how to use anything in this company. So Jane knows it is her responsibility to teach Sienna everything that she needed to know. And also lastly is professionalism. This can be seen both of them wears a suitable attire for office and work. So it is professionalism. Okay, so next is the cause and effect based on this particular scene. So because Jane teach Sienna very polite and very kind, so this behavior shows a mutual respect between them and helps the new employee to express appreciation and also the desire to be motivated.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Muhammad IKRAM bin Muhammad FARZEE. My metric card number is 2020813164. I'm from RCS 2555A. So today I will be presenting about my group assessment for ELC. The movie that we choose for this assessment is The Assistant. It is a movie about a harrowing glimpse at a day in the life of a powerful executive helper. As Jane goes about her daily routine, she becomes more aware of the insidious assault that threatens every phase of her positions. So I will be explaining about scene 3. It is a scene that I think is critical on this movie. Before I get into that, I would like to explain what happened in scene 3. So, on scene 3 take place on 47 minutes 32 seconds in the movie. It is a scene where Jane goes to her superior to consult about an incident that just happened with the new assistant, which is the new girl. The new girl meet her boss at the hotel. Jane was worried that the girl was assaulted, so Jane do not know what to do. She go to her superior to consult about it, but the reply she get is not as what she thought she would get. The superior said that she was jealous of the attention that the new girl is getting and she is stressed. the superior is implied that James do not get the same attention that the new girl get from the boss, so she is jealous about it, and she also stressed about her working life. He also said that James is lucky to get a job at this company. The truth is, Jane is worried about the new girl's safety, but the superior said the new girl is a grown woman. She can take care of herself. The superior asked her again if she want to file a complaint, but now she is hesitant. She don't want to file a complaint based on what the superior replied. She is worried that she is wrong. The superior also threw some snarky comment that say Jane is not his boss type. He is implying that James should not worry about any assault that she is getting from the boss, because she is not the boss type. This show the daily kind of treatment that Jane get as she was working in that company. So from the scene, I can break down to a few topics, which is at the start of the scene, both parties show some politeness. Jane politely consult her superior about the incident. Jane used bolt on record strategy. She attempts to minimize the incident and consult her superior. On the other hand, her superior used off record strategy. He is avoiding the responsibility and indirectly berating Jane about her complaint. At the end of the scene, the superior become impolite and use a negative impoliteness strategy by threatening Jane by asking, "Do she want to work here anymore?" and throw some snarky comment about her behavior as if she was jealous about the attention that the new girl is getting, and she also not his boss type. She should mind her own business. Next, we also can imply that Jane is violating the maxim of cooperative. She doesn't provide enough information about the intention of her consultation and misleading it. The superior do not understand it and try to find the hidden or indirect meaning of Jane consultations. The result of it is she wrongly understands the intention of Jane and implied that Jane is jealous with the new girl. So, based on my opinion, in this case, Jane should improve her communication skills by saying enough, but not too much about her consultation. She also must express her worry confidently and must assert her worry about the incident happen is not because of she is jealous, but she is worried about the new girl safety. The superior also is at fault in this case, because not only that he treat her worker poorly, he also does not helping at all in this incident. He also should express himself more calmly and not use some rude words on Jane even if she is wrong. There is a better way to express her feeling rather than insulting Jane's. Next is what I can see from the scene is, from what I learned from this subject, is the type of communication in these scenes is a verbal formal upward communication. Jane consult the higher designation for that incident. For the communication style, it also show the superior is the critic, which she is good at criticizing Jane, and Jane is like the Rolling Stone. She complained about the incident, but she is not an ill-tempered person, and she is a warm person. She also ready to help her colleague anytime they need her. In the conclusion, I think Jane should improve her skill on communicate with superior, and the superior should be more polite on how to express her feeling towards his worker, and listen to Jane carefully other than insulting and accusing James about what he think. So from my opinion, this movie is a little boring, but it also shows some fact about how a woman had been treated on their workplace, and I also think about how we can communicate with our superior in a better way. I think uh, that's all from me. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Lastly is the conclusion. The conclusion that we learn a lot about appropriate and inappropriate workplace behavior. It is important of ethics, verbal and non-verbal cues, body language and personality in the workplace. And all of these communication related factors not only affect how we interact with others, but also help us improve our communication skill. That's all from us. Thank you.